The worst day of Nath Jackson's life wasn't when his wife died. It wasn't when cancer took Marie at 42, leaving him alone with 2 young daughters and a grief so heavy he couldn't breathe. The worst day was the morning he discovered his daughters had calculated, down to the decimal point, exactly how much his life was worth, and how much more it would be worth if he were gone. It started with a voicemail at midnight, the wedding videographer's voice shaking as he said, "Mr. Jackson, you need to hear what they said when the music was playing, when they thought no one could hear." Nath had spent $800,000 on his daughter's perfect wedding 3 weeks earlier. He'd walked her down the aisle with tears in his eyes, believing he'd finally done something right as a father. He was wrong. The high-definition footage would show him exactly how wrong. Frame by frame, word by calculated word. His own daughters, plotting his destruction in slow motion, while he danced alone, 20 feet away, smiling like a fool. 3 weeks earlier, Lelia's wedding had been perfect. At least, that's what Nath told himself as he wrote an $800,000 check to cover the celebration. The ceremony took place at the Seattle Art Museum Sculpture Garden, with 300 guests, a 12-piece orchestra, and flowers flown in from Ecuador. Lelia, 30 years old and radiant, married Enzo Moretti in a ceremony that felt more like a corporate merger than a union of souls. Enzo was 33, handsome in that calculated way that comes from expensive haircuts and personal trainers. Nath had reservations, but he buried them beneath layers of paternal optimism. At the reception, Nath gave a toast he'd rehearsed for weeks. He spoke about love, about legacy, about how proud Marie would have been to see their daughter in that dress. He mentioned Marie a lot these days, as if saying her name enough times could summon her back, could fill the void that 20 years hadn't managed to close. Jackson Pierce, his head of security and only real friend, sat beside him. "You okay, boss?" Nath nodded, watching his daughters across the room. Anna, 27 and sharp-featured like her mother, stood with her partner Miles Chun, whispering about something that made her frown. "I'm fine. Just thinking about Marie." "She'd have seen right through Enzo," Jackson muttered. The comment stung because it was true. Marie had possessed an emotional intelligence that Nath lacked. She could tell when someone was lying or hurting or hiding something. Nath had numbers and logic and strategy. Marie had people. When she died of cancer at 42, Nath lost more than his wife. He lost his interpreter. So he did what he knew how to do. He worked. He built. He provided. He gave his daughters everything money could buy and nothing that required him to be vulnerable. During the father-daughter dance, Nath held Lelia close and whispered, "Your mother would be so proud of you." Lelia pulled back slightly. Then she should have stuck around to see it. The words landed like a slap. When the song ended, Nath watched Lelia and Enzo sway together during their first dance. He didn't notice Enzo leaning close to Anna at the edge of the dance floor. He didn't see Anna's expression shift from surprise to calculation. He was too busy remembering Marie, drowning in the past while the future plotted 20 feet away. After the reception, Nath wrote another check. $2 million for a honeymoon home in Tuscany. Anna hugged him goodbye, and for a moment, he thought he felt something genuine. Then she pulled away and said, "Thanks for everything, Dad. As always." The words felt hollow, transactional, like thanking a banker for approving a loan. Kenneth Cho's studio occupied the second floor of a converted warehouse. Nath arrived at 9 the next morning, having told no one where he was going. Kenneth looked like he hadn't slept. "Mr. Jackson, I'm sorry to drag you here. I debated deleting this, but..." He gestured to his editing suite, where multiple monitors displayed frozen frames from the wedding. "What did you find?" Kenneth's hands trembled as he navigated through folders. "I use high-gain directional microphones for the ceremony. They capture ambient sound, but they also pick up conversations that aren't meant to be recorded." He pulled up a file labeled First Dance, Ambient Audio, and pressed play. Beautiful music swelled. Then, barely audible beneath the strings, Enzo's voice cut through. "The timeline is critical. We filed the incompetency petition 3 weeks after the wedding, while he's still riding the emotional high. The doctors I've consulted agree that the behavioral pattern Miles has documented will be sufficient for a preliminary evaluation." Anna's voice, hesitant. "Are you sure about this?" "He's still sharp in meetings." Enzo, smooth as silk. "He's 65 and alone. The pattern fits. Besides, we're not trying to destroy him, just protect the assets before he makes irrational decisions." Think of it as preventative care. This is your chance to finally step out of her shadow. A pause. Then Anna, so quietly Nath almost missed it. Okay, I'm in. Kenneth stopped the playback. Nath sat frozen. Incompetency petition. Conservatorship. The words swirled like debris in a hurricane. There's more, Kenneth said softly. He pulled up another file from earlier in the evening. Anna's voice, thick with tears. I just want Dad to actually see us, Lelia. But he never will he? So we might as well take what we can get. Lelia's response was cold, clinical. He sees his companies. He sees his legacy. We're just the biological repositories of the Jackson name. Enzo's right. We secure the assets now, or we spend the rest of our lives begging for scraps. Kenneth handed Nath a hard drive. I have about 4 hours of footage total. I've compiled everything. Why are you showing me this? Kenneth looked pained. Because I have a daughter. She's 3. And if someone knew she was planning to hurt me, I'd want them to tell me. Driving back to the estate, Nath needed silence to think. His daughters were planning to have him declared mentally incompetent. They'd consulted doctors. They'd planned a timeline. And the worst part, the part that made his chest tighten, was the question he couldn't shake. Had he given them any reason to love him for anything other than his money? Nath called Jackson that afternoon. They met at a coffee shop in Fremont, far from anyone who might recognize them. When Nath played him the recordings, Jackson's expression hardened. Boss, this is conspiracy. This is fraud. We can have them arrested. I need you to investigate first. I need to know how deep this goes. Nath paused, the question catching in his throat. And I need to know if Anna's right. If I'm actually slipping. Jackson's expression softened. Nath, you're not slipping. You're grieving. There's a difference. Then why can't I remember your daughter's name? Silence fell between them. Jackson's daughter was Nath's goddaughter, a bright 12-year-old he'd seen exactly twice in the past year, absence following mother's death. Client cannot determine if father's recent forgetfulness is genuine cognitive decline or continued emotional unavailability. Client feels torn between concern for father's well-being and anger at lifetime of neglect. She's conflicted, Jackson said. She's been weaponized, but she's not comfortable with it. And Lelia? Lelia had been in contact with a family law attorney for 6 months. The consultation notes were clinical, focused on protecting inheritance from irrational charitable donations. The final piece was the most damning. Enzo's laptop contained a spreadsheet titled Liquidation Timeline, Jackson Estate Holdings. It was dated 3 months before the wedding, before they could have known about any decline. The spreadsheet detailed a methodical plan to liquidate Nath's holdings over 18 months. At the bottom, a note in Enzo's handwriting. Conservative estimate, $3.8 billion net after taxes. Split 4 ways per agreement. L, 40%. A, 30%. E, 20%. M, 10%. They'd already divided the spoils. Nath stared at the numbers until they blurred. His daughters had sold him for percentages. What do you want to do? Jackson asked quietly. I want to destroy them. But Marie wouldn't want that. Marie's not here. I know. That's the problem. Nath met Deborah Kim at a diner in Ballard. She'd been the Jackson family attorney for 20 years. She'd drawn up Marie's will, had held Nath's hand through probate, had watched him transform from grieving husband to emotionally absent father. She ordered coffee. Nath ordered nothing. I know what they're planning, he said. Deborah didn't look surprised. Enzo contacted me 6 weeks ago, asking hypothetical questions about conservatorship procedures. I told him I couldn't discuss it without you present. He found another lawyer. I should have warned you then. She reached into her briefcase and pulled out Marie's will, coffee-stained and worn. Read the personal note. The one Marie made me include. Nath opened to the final page. Marie's handwriting filled the margin. If I'm gone, Nath, promise me you'll give the girls something money can't buy. Give them yourself. Don't let them become strangers with my face. Don't let grief turn you into someone I wouldn't recognize. Build a family, not an empire. Love them, even when they make it hard. Especially then. Nath's vision blurred. I failed her. Yes, but you can still honor her. Deborah pulled out another document. This is the framework for the Marie Jackson Foundation. It's structured to receive 80% of your estate, approximately $3.4 billion, dedicated to STEM education for underprivileged youth. Everything Marie wanted to do before she got sick. The remaining 20% gets divided between your daughters. $50 million each, held in trust until they turn 40. But there's a second option. She pulled out an amendment. This offers them positions as co-directors of the foundation, with salaries of $500,000 per year. The work is real. The responsibility is significant. If they serve for 5 years and demonstrate genuine commitment, they become eligible for a larger inheritance, $200 million each. So they work for 5 years to earn what they thought they'd get for free. They work for 5 years to become people Marie would have been proud of, Deborah corrected. It's not punishment. It's rehabilitation. We established the foundation immediately, moving the assets out of their reach. That's non-negotiable. But we structure the co-director positions as genuine offers. We give them a week to decide. Nath looked at Marie's handwriting again. Build a family, not an empire. Do it, he said. The press conference was scheduled for Tuesday morning at Jackson Industries headquarters. Nath invited local media, tech industry reporters, and several nonprofit organizations. He'd told his daughters he planned to make a significant announcement about the company's future. Both came. Anna looked anxious. Lelia radiated suspicion. Enzo and Miles sat in the back row, trying to look supportive while clearly calculating. Deborah stood beside Nath at the podium. Nath began. 20 years ago, I lost my wife, Marie, to cancer. She was 42 years old. Brilliant. Kind. Before she died, Marie told me she wanted to create a foundation dedicated to STEM education for underprivileged youth. She believed that talent was equally distributed, but opportunity wasn't. He paused. I was too consumed by grief to honor her wish. I built companies instead of community. But today, I'm correcting that failure. I'm announcing the establishment of the Marie Jackson Foundation, endowed with $3.4 billion from my personal holdings. The room erupted in applause. But Nath was watching his daughters. Lelia's face had gone white, and it looked like she'd been punched. The foundation will be led by a board of directors, but I'm also naming 2 co-executive directors who will have operational authority. I'm offering these positions to my daughters, Lelia and Anna, if they choose to accept. The positions come with salaries of $500,000 per year and significant responsibility. They require immediate divestment from all Jackson Industries holdings. They require full-time commitment and demonstrated dedication to the foundation's mission. Nath looked directly at his daughters. This is meaningful work. This is your mother's dream. This is your chance to build something that matters. My daughters will have 1 week to decide whether to accept these positions. After the press conference, Enzo cornered Nath in the hallway. The vice president position you promised me. The role we discussed. Nath regarded him coolly. I don't recall promising you anything, Enzo. He turned to Anna. Anna, did you hear me promise Enzo a vice presidency? Anna, trapped, whispered, No, Dad. Then I'm not sure what you're referring to. Nath's voice was ice. If you'd like to submit a formal application, you're welcome to go through our standard HR process. Though I should mention we conduct thorough background checks. Enzo's face flushed. He stormed out. Nath turned to his daughters. You have 1 week. Choose carefully. Sunday morning arrived with rain. The family gathered at the estate for what Nath had billed as a celebratory brunch. They assembled in the formal dining room. Nath sat at the head of the table. Deborah and Jackson flanked him, making it clear this wasn't casual. Lelia arrived with Enzo, her pregnancy now visible. Anna came with Miles, both looking like they were walking to an execution. Thank you all for coming, Nath said. I wanted to discuss the foundation positions privately. We've already decided, Lelia said, her voice hard. We're not interested. You haven't heard the full offer. We don't need to. Enzo interjected. You just gave away $3.4 billion that should have. That should have what? Belong to you? Because you married my daughter 3 weeks ago? Because we're family, Lelia said. Nath nodded slowly. Family. Let's talk about family. He pressed a button. The screen at the end of the room flickered to life, showing Lelia and Enzo's first dance. Then Nath turned up the audio. Enzo's voice filled the room. The timeline is critical. We file the incompetency petition 3 weeks after the wedding. The doctors I've consulted agree that the behavioral pattern Miles has documented will be sufficient. The color drained from every face. Anna's voice came next. Are you sure about this? Enzo. He's 65 and alone. The pattern fits. Nath paused the playback. The silence was absolute. Would you like to hear more? I have the bathroom conversation between Lelia and Anna. The garden discussion about memory care facilities. Miles talking to a lawyer about forging medical consultations. He slid documents across the table. These are the emails Miles sent, impersonating me, to 3 different psychiatrists. This is the spreadsheet Enzo created 3 months ago, titled Liquidation Timeline, detailing how you plan to sell off my assets. He slid another document toward Enzo. This is your prenuptial agreement. It explicitly states you have no claim to any assets Lelia acquires through inheritance. Did you read it? Enzo's hands trembled. Nath turned to Miles. You've been committing fraud and forgery. I could have you arrested. Instead, I'm giving you both 24 hours to remove your belongings from my property and never contact my daughters again. If you don't comply, I'll pursue every legal remedy available. Both men stood. Enzo started to speak, but Nath cut him off. 24 hours. Get out. They left, and Nath was alone with his daughters. Lelia broke first. This was your idea. You said he was incompetent. Because you convinced me. Anna shouted back. You told me we didn't matter to him. Because it's true. The words hung in the air, naked and raw. Nath let them sit for a moment. Then he spoke, his voice softer. You're right, Lelia. It is true. You haven't mattered to me the way you should have. Not since your mother died. When Marie died, I didn't know how to be a father without her. She understood feelings. I only knew how to provide. So that's what I did. I gave you money and opportunity and everything I thought a parent should give. But I never gave you myself. He looked at Anna. You work at Jackson Industries. I see you in meetings, and I don't really see you. I see an employee. That's my failure, not yours. Anna's eyes filled with tears. He turned to Lelia. You look so much like your mother that sometimes it hurts to look at you. So I don't. I write checks instead. I'm your ATM, not your father. Lelia's chin trembled. You tried to steal my fortune and have me locked away. That's unforgivable. But I created the conditions that made you think it was acceptable. I taught you that our relationship was transactional. He walked to the window, overlooking Marie's old garden. Your mother made me promise I'd give you something money couldn't buy. I failed. For 20 years, I failed. So I'm offering you a choice. 3 options. He held up one finger. Option 1. Walk away. I'll give you each $5 million. Enough to live comfortably. But you cut all contact with me. Second finger. Option 2. Accept the foundation positions. $500,000 a year, real work, real responsibility. Earn your inheritance over 5 years. If you prove you can build instead of take, you'll receive $200 million each when I pass. Third finger. Option 3. Fight me. Proceed with your conservatorship plan. I'll release all the evidence publicly. You'll get nothing and spend years in legal battles you'll lose. He sat back down. I need your answer before you leave this room. Silence stretched. Lelia spoke. The money's really gone. I gave it to your mother's dream, where it should have gone 20 years ago. Anna covered her face with her hands. You taught us to choose ourselves. You were never there. You're right. I wasn't. But I'm trying now to give you something real. A chance to build a relationship that isn't about money. A chance to honor your mother. Lelia stood abruptly. I need to think. You have until you walk out that door. That's not enough time. It's more time than you gave me before planning my institutionalization. The words landed like a slap. Anna looked up, tears streaking her face. How long have you known? 3 weeks. I needed to know if you'd stop. If any of you would choose differently. You didn't. Anna's face crumpled. Because you never taught us how. You're right. I didn't. But I'm teaching you now. I'm showing you what it looks like to choose integrity over convenience. I'm showing you that love requires sacrifice. He handed them each an envelope. These are the formal offer letters. Read them. Decide. But decide now. Enzo had been listening in the hallway. When the door opened, he was there, face flushed with rage. We're not begging. We're leaving. Let's go. He waited for Lelia to follow. She always had. Lelia, 8 months pregnant and exhausted, stared at him. Then she looked back at her father, at the envelope in her hands. She didn't move. Lelia, we're leaving. Now. No. What? I said no. You married me for money that doesn't exist. You planned to institutionalize my father. You used me. I gave you everything you wanted. You gave me permission to be my worst self. She touched her belly. I'm having a baby in 6 weeks. I need to figure out how to be better. And I can't do that with you. Enzo's mask cracked. You're making a mistake. Without me, you're nothing. Maybe. But I'd rather be that than whatever I've become with you. He stared at her, then left without another word. Lelia turned back to the room, shaking. I need to think about the offer. Really think. Just give me a few days. Take the time you need, Nath said. She left, one hand protectively cradling her belly, which left Anna and Miles. Miles tried to take Anna's hand. She pulled away like he'd burned her. You forged his signature. You made me think he was sick. You weaponized me. I was trying to give you what you deserved, Miles said desperately. I deserved a father. You try to give me money. It's not the same thing. She looked at Nath. How long have you known? 3 weeks. Since the videographer called. And you let us keep planning. That's cold. Yes. That's what I would have done. If I were you. That's exactly the strategy one would have employed. She paused. You're the most like me. That's why we've never understood each other. Your mother wasn't like that. She was the heart of the family. Without her, we're all just players on a chessboard. Anna looked at Miles. I need you to leave. Anna, get out. Please. Miles left slowly, like a man walking to his own funeral. When the door closed, Anna sagged into her chair. I thought he was declining. I genuinely believed it. I wanted to believe it because it was easier than admitting I was angry at you for being absent. I'm sorry. For not seeing you. For not being there. Being sorry doesn't fix it. No. But maybe working together does. Maybe building something meaningful does. Anna looked up, eyes red and blotchy. The foundation job. Is it real, or is it punishment? It's real. The work is hard. But it matters. It's what your mother wanted. What if I fail? Then we fail together. That's what family does. Anna opened the envelope and read every word. Finally, she looked up. I'm not ready to forgive you. I know, but I'm willing to try. To work. To see if we can build something that isn't broken. That's all I'm asking. She stood, folding the letter carefully. I need some time. A few days. Take what you need. She paused at the door. Dad? Thank you. For not giving up on us. Then she was gone. 3 days passed in tense silence. Then, at 2 in the morning on Thursday, Nath's phone rang. Dad. Lelia's voice, tight with pain. I'm at Swedish Medical Center. I'm in labor. It's too early. I'm scared. Can you? I'm on my way. At the hospital, Lelia was alone in the labor and delivery room, hooked to monitors, her face pale and frightened. No Enzo. No friends. Just her. Where's? Nath started. He's not coming. I called him. He said it wasn't his problem anymore. Her voice broke. I'm alone. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to be a mother. Nath crossed the room and took her hand. Neither did I. I'm still learning. The labor lasted 6 hours. Nath stayed the entire time, holding her hand, coaching her breathing, being present in a way he hadn't been since Marie died. When the baby arrived, small and perfect and screaming, the nurse placed him in Lelia's arms. He's beautiful, Nath said. He's so tiny. 8 weeks early. They said he'll need the NICU for a while. Lelia touched the baby's impossibly small fingers. I want to name him Nathan. After you. And after Mom. Nathan Marie. Nath's vision blurred. It's more than okay. I know I don't deserve forgiveness. But I want him to grow up differently than we did. I want him to know what family actually means. Then teach him. We'll teach him together. The foundation job. I want to accept. Not because of the money. But because I want Nathan to grow up seeing me build something meaningful. He will be proud of you. I am. Lelia started crying, and Nath pulled her into an embrace, careful of the baby between them. I'm still angry at you. For all the years you weren't there. I know. But I'm grateful you're here now. So am I. Anna was harder. She took the $5 million and disappeared. Rented a modest apartment, started therapy, took long walks around Green Lake. Every week, Nath sent a letter. Not about the foundation or business. Just life. Small observations. Memories of Marie. Week 1. Anna, I walked past your mother's tomato garden today. Someone should plant it this spring. Week 3. I remembered the time you built that robot for the science fair. The one that could sort recyclables. I should have told you more often how brilliant you are. Week 5. I'm reading a book about parenting. About 40 years too late. It says the most important thing is showing up. I'm trying to learn how. Week 7. I'm selling the mansion. Too many ghosts. I'm buying something smaller near the coast. Your mother always wanted to live by the water. Anna didn't respond to any of them. Then, 7 weeks after the brunch, she showed up at the foundation office. It was a modest space in Pioneer Square. Lelia was there, looking exhausted and happy. Baby Nathan was in a carrier on her desk, sleeping. Anna stood in the doorway, watching. Lelia looked up and froze. Hi. Hi. Silence stretched between them. You're doing the accounting wrong, Anna said finally. The grant structure doesn't align with the disbursement calendar. Lelia's expression shifted to irritation. Then fix it yourself if you're so smart. I'm not here to help. Then why are you here? Anna's composure cracked. Because I'm lonely and angry, and I don't know how to forgive Dad, but I don't know how to let it go either. Because I miss you. Lelia stood slowly, crossing the room. I miss you too, and I'm furious at you. I know. Lelia touched Nathan's carrier. But I'm trying to be better. For him. Anna looked at the baby. Is the job still available? You'd have to ask Dad. I'm asking you. Do you want me here? Lelia considered seriously. Yes. I need someone who understands finance. I need my sister. What time do we start? 7:30. Coffee's terrible. I take mine black anyway. And just like that, something shifted. Not forgiveness, but a beginning. 1 year later, the Marie Jackson Foundation had funded 47 scholarships and established mentorship programs in 12 states. The work was hard, the hours were long. But Lelia and Anna showed up. Every day, together. Nath visited weekly, always by invitation. He'd sold the mansion and bought a small house on Bainbridge Island. The view was beautiful, and the silence was no longer lonely. Nathan took his first steps in the foundation office on a Tuesday in October. Both Lelia and Anna cried. Nath, watching via video call, cried too. Every Sunday, weather permitting, Nath took the ferry to Seattle and met his daughters at the small cemetery in Queen and where Marie was buried. Anna brought flowers. Lelia brought coffee. Nath brought stories about Marie he'd never shared before. On what would have been Marie's 62nd birthday, they gathered as usual. Nathan, now 1 year old, toddled between the headstones. Anna placed white roses on the grave. I'm still angry at you, Dad, she said matter-of-factly. I know, Nath replied. But I'm trying not to be. That's more than I deserve. Lelia, holding Nathan's hand, added, Mom, meet your grandson again. He's walking now. We're doing our best. It's messy. We still fight. But it's real. Finally, it's real. Anna said, the foundation funded a robotics program last month. The kids built a water filtration system for their community. You would have loved it. Nathan toddled over to the headstone and patted it gently. Gamma, he said. All 3 adults stopped breathing. I've been showing him pictures, Lelia said quietly. Telling him stories. I want him to know who she was. Nath knelt beside his grandson. Your grandma was the best person I ever knew. She was kind and brilliant, and she believed in second chances. Nathan smiled and went back to exploring. I'm proud of you both, Nath said. Your mother would be too. She'd be disappointed it took us this long, Lelia said. No, Anna corrected gently. She'd be proud we got here at all. Standing there in the cemetery on a gray Seattle morning, Nath finally understood what Marie had tried to teach him. Love wasn't inherited. It wasn't automatic. It wasn't a transaction. Love was built. Slowly. Painfully. With hands that trembled and voices that broke. But they built it anyway. Nathan laughed at something only he could see, and the sound carried across the cemetery like music. Nath looked at his daughters and saw not assets or heirs or failures, but people. Complicated, wounded people who were choosing, every single day, to build something better. Thank you, he said quietly. For what? Anna asked. For not giving up on me. For choosing the harder path. Lelia took his hand. Anna, after a moment, took the other. They stood like that, 3 generations of Jacksons, in front of Marie's grave. Not healed, not forgiven, not fixed, but trying. And for the first time in 20 years, that felt like enough.